Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are in the world, and welcome to another scene for Tokyo by Night, Kindred of the East. This evening, we find the three Cathayans, after meeting with the head of the Court of Blood and Silk, heading off into the direction of the industrial docks, the industrial port of Tokyo, not too far off from the Minato ward. And currently they are being driven by likely the people that drove the ancestor into this little meeting that preceded this. But for now, we have the three sitting in the back of a car. I'm assuming that our good friend the Heen is sitting in the middle between the Bone Flower and the Thrashing Dragon.
I was gonna say Taro is off doing some gangster shit somewhere the fuck else.
I know.
But Yujiro is in fact sitting uncomfortably sandwiched between people who outrank him, one of whom is at least nominally responsible for him.
Sung is only slightly grumpy. He wanted to drive his motorcycle, but it is okay.
Akira is viciously texting on her phone. Did I get any information from my blue booking, Vinny?
Let me take a look. That's the blue booking. All right. So the basic ideas that you are going to get is that essentially Boss Matsuda is considered something of a no-fly zone as far as the local police are concerned. He has severely injured officers in the past, and when they try and send more officers, he sends back more injured officers. And he has the clout and the backup to be able to deal with the local police. Most of the other various Saibatsus don't particularly like to pick any kind of quarrel with Boss Matsuda. He's kind of a big deal.
Okay. Akira will sort of like mumble this information to the other two while she's texting. Sounds like he's pretty dangerous.
Yujiro makes his patented Yujiro face. You can see that he is just a ball of fire. He is so ready to take this on. Akira, however, past the poorly derived facade, can see that he, as usual, is a giant coward about this.
So I guess it probably wouldn't be advantageous for us to go in all guns blazing.
Do we even have guns to blaze?
I mean, we have stuff that blazes, I'm sure. And she's gonna pull the collar of her shirt way out, snap a picture of her own boobs, and go back to texting.
What? I'm just gonna do what I. Yep. This is happening today.
Anyway, on the bright side, anything that goes down there probably won't be met with police attention.
Maybe, just maybe, I won't get shot.
We shall see.
So, you all drive for roughly about another 30 minutes or so before finally arriving at your destination. Which is the industrial port, a big commercial port. And you sort of park up on a hill that overlooks the area. And you can look down and you can see that there is activity down there. But if anybody would like to roll their perception and alertness, they may to get a better look at what's going on.
Can I roll my Hun to activate sharpened senses?
Yes, you may.
I learned things. But she botched.
Well, yeah, that is a somewhat severe botch. Really, any botch is severe. What am I talking about here? Let me just bring up a little something, one of my reference sheets, and then I will tell you what you need to roll.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You, my dear, are going to have to roll for Shadow Soul.
Okay. Is that Hun again?
Let me just bring this up real quick. Roll your Hun. In your difficulty is your Poe +3.
Okay, so that should be 6. I botched again.
Oh wow, easy peasy. Well, my very dear young Akira, you you attempt to call upon your higher nature to focus your sharp senses, while Yujiro doesn't see too much. He sees some activity down there. He can see your standard night shift guards, and Sung can see that there are a few people standing down there in business suits at the entrance to where there are a number of shipping containers, which you might be able to get to rather covertly. However, as you try and draw on that to do what the other two have done, you falter somewhat with your higher senses, and in doing so, inside you hear that whisper that every Cathayan hears, the whisper of your Poe. And as such, you begin to feel as though you are slipping away, and your other half, the inverse, the yin to your yang, creeps in, grabs your higher self, and throws it aside and assumes the control of your body. You have picked the Poe archetype of Ancient, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that are viewing, the Ancient looks back along the trail plowed by the Wheel of Ages and believes that in the past ages it wouldn't have suffered the torments it did in Yomi, and the ones it continues to suffer after the second breath. The Quajian's wiser predecessors, at least before they succumbed to pride, existed more harmoniously. The ancient Poe thinks the Hun can never measure up and wants to simply surrender so as to relieve the Poe from its pain. When in Shadow Soul, your character shows obsessive concern for everything old and contempt for everything new. So, this is the mindset you take on as an ancient being. That love for tradition, the love for pre Tokugawa Japan, pre modern Japan takes over. And you are left there standing, now completely aware of yourself. At least your Poe is completely aware of yourself. And what does Akira do once this deeper, darker self takes over?
Well, she's going to immediately defer to Yujiro, as he is both Japanese and a man. Clearly, he's in charge here, right? And she's going to look at him and she's going to say, Yujiro-sama, what should we do?
And Yujiro looks back at her. In spite of this mask, you can see out both of his eyes here. Just a little panache, a little stage magic going on. Also, Bob couldn't find other pictures. Just kind of looks at her with this very flat expression. He almost feels like he's being fucked with here. And then he looks back out over the situation. So, like, to review, there's I don't know if like the full scope of what our other compadre over there saw was related to me or not.
Sung definitely saw everything you saw and quite a bit more.
Yeah. So either way, like what we're looking at in a pretty large shipping platform, a few uniformed night guards and a few dudes in suits kind of out front the obvious entrance, right?
If Jun conveys that, absolutely.
Yeah, he would have said something about it. That there would be a possibility of sneaking past if no one messed up.
I'm
Yujiro.
sorry, I didn't catch that, Kim.
You said he said there would be a possibility of sneaking past if no one messed up anything or were too loud. I think you said something about like could sneak past possibly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yujiro kind of adjusts his mask a little bit. Might be winter, but it can still get hot in that thing. Okay, we'll try that. I'd like to avoid a fight if I can.
You know, it's
And Yujiro looks at this person who is higher than him in rank.
Sung looks kind of amused, and he will get out of the car. I guess he's just gonna head down there and like start being sneaky.
Akira's gonna hold Yujiro's hand.
You know, this happens, and Yujiro like looks at this. And just goes with it because she is higher than him in rank, and he is not to question the ways of his ancestors.
So, if everybody would please roll me Dex Stealth.
Oh boy.
Well, you got a success.
Things are looking up, Millhouse.
All right. Well, Yujiro, you find the shadows and you blend to them very well, keeping yourself there out of sight. Sung, you do much the same, and because you were walking behind Yujiro with arms folded in front of you and head down, not wanting to look up or draw any attention to yourself, you still managed to get yourself through down from the hill, heading towards the bay itself, or towards the port perimeter itself. And as the three of you get to this fence line, it's not particularly dilapidated or not maintained. It's just that there's not a lot in the way of protection where you are. You could probably slip through this gate if you needed to. And there only seems to be one individual currently guarding that particular side of the port. He doesn't seem to be armed with anything but a nightstick, a radio, and some pepper spray. And he looks like he's terribly bored. He hasn't seen you as of yet.
Just gonna try to slip past him.
All right, please roll me Dex Stealth again. Two successes. All right, Ujiro and Akira are going to try again, or try and slip past him.
Mm-hmm.
Two successes. Each of you have two successes, which is enough to, as you cling close to this chain link fence, and you move and you move and you move up to where his guard booth is that he's standing outside of, leaning against the wall. Looks like he's smoking. But there is that little like single person entrance in the fence, and it's currently open, and you are able to slip through it.
I know this is going to be a funny question, but I've slept since yesterday. I kind of slightly remember what we're supposed to do here. Not all of it, though.
You're
Yeah.
here to disrupt the operation that this Zaibatsu has on the docks. They have a shipment of some kind coming in tonight, and you want to be able to prevent it from ever reaching its destination.
Okay. Oh, shit.
However you decide to do it, it is up to you. The ancestor does not want any of Boss Matsuda's men to survive. Anything that you find there is yours to keep.
Okay. Probably should have asked what exactly that thing was that they were waiting on, so we could figure out what the hell it looked like. But, I mean, oh well.
So if you look at the picture, you can kind of see sort of there's that main thoroughfare which is very well lit, and you guys are staying in this area that's dark, sort of moving along the perimeter, staying in between the lights, going between the cranes and whatnot as individuals are walking by, just kind of minding their own. You come up to an additional gate that seems to be where all the shipping containers are, and that is where you see some of Boss Metsuda's men. They're dressed in the suits, and they don't appear to be armed, but they do have, each of them do have coats. Well, they're not wearing just suits. They do have like the long dusters, trench coats essentially to keep warm.
Or saps, we've got to kill him.
Mm-hmm. Now, you could do some recon if you wanted.
And then we kill them.
And you do kill them.
I guess now would be a good time for like a perk investigation or something.
Yes, you may do so. Roll me one more stealth check. I'm going to roll their passive perception real quick, so don't roll just yet. You'll see how many successes you need to beat. So you need to beat 3 successes to get up close enough to do recon.
Oh, snap. I'm gonna spend a willpower then?
You may do so.
Bless.
All right, so the two of you, Sung and Yujiro, manage to avoid detection. They don't see you at all as the two of you sort of dart into the shadows. However, Akira, you have not done the same, and immediately 2 flashlights come up and shine on you. So, we're going to have a surprise round for Ujiro and Sung to be able to deal with these two, but they both shine their flashlights on you, Akira, and they say, "Ah, who are you? What are you doing here?" These imposing men, these 2 opposing men in suits and ties, looking very authoritative, slowly beginning to approach you, Akira.
I guess she'll start bowing? I don't know.
Probably at this point it would be good to ask for their forgiveness and say that well, you could easily say that you're lost. I mean, you're not without faculty. You do know that you could simply lie to them. That would be easy enough.
Okay, she'll do that. Do Quajin cry blood?
No. Especially not if they're gang aspected.
Okay. She's going to start crying and say that she's lost.
Alright, roll me. What do we have on your sheet that you could roll? Roll me your appearance and subterfuge.
Okay. 3 successes. If there's anything enticing about a young girl crying, that would work too.
You know, I am going to say that as far as they're concerned, yes, they are very enticed. So have that 10 as an exploding 10.
Oh no.
And I am just going to look up. You are north direction, correct?
No, I am center direction.
Let's see what your lucky number is. Let's see if it came up in this very important, actually extremely important roll. And the number is 5. You have a 5 in there. You may roll your Hun to try and break out of your Shadow Soul.
What difficulty?
Because you haven't been in it that long, I'm going to say standard, and you may expend a willpower point to do so.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right.
2 successes with the willpower.
So you do manage to stifle your Poe enough. You realize what has happened, and you know there will be consequences later as far as a Dharma roll is concerned, but there are other issues that are pressing right now. Obviously, this act of blindness will have to wait to be addressed. But these 2 men are coming towards you, and they have their brows raised, and they're just like, wow, lost, huh? Maybe we can help you find where you need to go. And Sung and Yujiro, you may strike, and you may add the number of dice on your stealth roll to ambush these people.
Oh, yes.
So I have to ask, Vinny, what's the difficulty of a knife in this game?
A knife is difficulty 4, and you are
Okay.
behind them, so that would be a difficult additional -2. However, we only go down to 3. So if you're using a knife, it is difficulty 3. If you're using any other kind of weapon, it is difficulty 4.
Good to know.
What kind of weapon were you using, Kim?
Because I had to be like that random ass person. He's using a chain whip.
Jesus.
Right.
How much damage does that thing do?
I don't really know.
I need to go to the document.
He was born in Korea, but he was raised in China, where he learned all of their things. He likes chain whips.
Okay, well, Yujiro, please roll me your strength plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Roll me your strength plus 8.
Okay. I'll take that extra die. Fuck it.
And that is all lethal. Which means
Yeah,
they
watch me
cannot-
beat this damage roll, though. It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
I see 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, which is more than his stamina. He is certainly dazed. And let me take a look here at the weapons. A chain whip is strength plus 1 lethal. Chain whip is difficulty 6. So you being behind him would be difficulty 4. So anything 4 or better is considered a success.
Okay, that'll just be 4 successes then.
All right, so go ahead and roll your strength plus 4, all in lethal.
Probably should put more dots into strength, but oh, okay.
All right, well, 3 does not beat his stamina, so he is not dazed, but you've just done a massive amount of damage to him that he did not see. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to roll initiative. I have to say, for a first strike, you guys did pretty fucking well. Proud of you. I'm proud of you all. I'd be a lot prouder if I could find a pen. Oh, fiddlesticks. Okay. Oh, there are times where I wish you could see the Hangout chats, ladies and gentlemen. Other times I'm glad you can't. Okay, so these two guys that you are currently facing down, they both have taken pretty substantial wounds. One of them is bleeding heavily from the back where he was stabbed, like in the kidney with a knife, and the other is like bleeding from the sides of his neck where a chain whip smashed and like opened up a massive amount of like just tore the skin, and there's blood now sort of dribbling out of the sides of his neck. And I do believe that it is Yujiro. You are first in initiative.
Okay. I'm going to keep going at the guy I'm working on.
That would be goon number 1. He is
Cool.
not doing well.
Bet he's not.
He is stunned, so I'll give you a -1 difficulty, or actually, I'll give you the -2 because you're still behind him and he is stunned, so he cannot turn around to attack you.
Well, okay then. This is what we're doing today.
That is 5 successes, or no, that is 6 successes. Please roll me your strength plus.
Be like +5 total.
Yeah, plus 6 total.
Okay.
That is a knife of strength plus 1.
All right. Nothing. I just. No damage.
Maybe you hit like a bone or you hit like a cell phone when you went to go shank him again.
Probably.
All right. Sung, It is your turn. Are you going after goon number 1 or continuing on goon number 2?
I'm gonna just keep going after the other goon that I started on.
All right. That would be number 2. Have at thee.
Goon should have died, but dice rolls. Sad times.
You have 1 success. It is your strength plus 1 in lethal damage.
Sad days. Sad days.
Well, you tack on another bit of lethal to him. He is now as hurt as the other guy. And it is his turn. And he is going to attack Sung with a knife from the front. And he is -2 dice, so he doesn't have a very good dice pool. Because he's hurting. And he is hurting bad. And he cannot, he pulls out the knife and he tries to stab you, but your undead flesh gives nothing, but takes from him everything. And it is now the turn of Akira, who is back in control, possibly somewhat upset.
Oh god, she doesn't have a weapon either.
Well, you could, the way it is right now, you've got goon number 1, who is hurt and facing in your direction, but has Yujiro behind him. And then there is the other guy who's just as hurt, but has turned himself to face Sung, and therefore exposing his flank to you. So he'd be at a -1 difficulty to hit. You're more than welcome to punch him.
I mean, why the fuck not? She's gonna go for the punch to the face.
Unless, of course, you want to roll your Poe to try and activate your fangs.
Probably not a good idea. Although I do have I have Ghost Shintai 1 or Ghost Flame Shintai 1. Can I activate the fangs with that by spending Yang?
Remind me what Ghost Flame Shintai number 1 does.
1 sec. Oh, never mind. It says no roll or chi expenditure is needed, but it takes 1 turn of concentration. The vampire can see in pitch darkness, and her bite inflicts an extra die of damage. And it goes to Ag.
Yes. You could do that if you wanted to activate activate that. It's up to you. All right. We are on Mr. Stabby Stabbed. And he is also not looking so hot, so he is going to try and spin around and stab Yujiro. He gets 2 successes. He does not harm you in the slightest. So, wow, they're just not doing so well today. It is your turn, guys.
Okay.
That would be
Alright.
4 successes.
I'll take it.
Or no. 3. I'm sorry. He's turned and faced you now.
All right.
So your strength plus 3 total. Do any of you guys have Black Wind?
Iron Mountain. My God, my damage rolls today.
All right. We are on to Song. Do your worst.
His worst is really not a lot.
Well, 30 successes is nothing to shake a stick at, so roll your strength plus 3 total in damage.
Oh,
How do you
well.
kill How do you kill him with this chain whip?
I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but he will, as he's spinning the chain, it's usually used in order to like flip because they coil it around their elbow and they kind of turn.
Mm-hmm.
He'll do it a little different. As he's spinning it, he'll coil it around his elbow in order to try to get it to turn, but instead of moving, he will just embed the dart tip into the top of Dude Bro's head.
Well, Dubro's head now has a metal spear tip directly in it, and he falls to the ground like a sack of meat. And he just lays there, kind of twitching. Akira, it is your turn.
So is the guy that he just hit dead?
Yes.
Okay. And the one that usually is not dead.
He is not.
I'm gonna bite him.
If you would like, you could grab the Dude Bro's knife off the ground.
Wouldn't it be quicker to just bite him?
You could. You'd have to grapple him, but you don't have your fangs activated at the moment. Or wait, don't you do?
Yeah, I do. I just activated him.
Well then, go ahead and grapple the dude. I will get his meager dice pool ready to try and shake you off.
Okay. I botched.
You did. So yeah, you shake him off, or well, he shakes you off. You kind of go to run towards him to try and grab him. Your teeth sort of glowing with this sort of pale, almost jade light. But you kind of stumble and you fall, and you are on the ground. And he is going to stab you. Two plus. Ouch, 5 lethal. So you take 2, and he looks somewhat amazed that a attack that he knew had a serious amount of oomph behind it barely manages to do any really substantial damage. He gets the knife in there, but it's not bleeding in the way he thought it would be. And we are at the top of initiative. Yujiro.
I think I can.
I think you can too. 1, 2, 3, 4. So your strength plus 4.
Finally.
How do you kill him while he's like hunch over your senpai Akira.
Yujiro simply plants the knife in the back of his neck. Likely the way the blade goes through, it probably doesn't do much to the bone, but will come out the other side haphazardly, rupturing an artery.
Eesh. Well, Akira, I have something special for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're laying there as this guy is like stabbing you. You're kind of like rolling over. You're trying to struggle him off, and he's got his knife towards your throat, and you're trying to wrestle for position. And then he stops as he makes a gasping sound, and you see sort of that glint of a blade coming through the front of his neck, and blood starts to just pour down onto your face and like chest area.
She'll drink it. Waste not, want not.
How many points of yang or yin chi would you like to take from this guy? He has, I believe, 10 points of chi in him.
How much yang can I hold?
You can take more than your permanent amount, but that is dangerous to do. That is how you go poof if you have to roll one of your virtues and you botch. That all goes off like an unsoakable egg.
Oh, okay. I'm actually full on chi, so
You could
I'll drink
use.
the blood, but I'm not gonna like fill up any. I'll just enjoy the experience of this guy's life ending.
Well, if you wanted to, you could spend chi that you have to heal the 2 lethal that you are currently dealing with, and then take what's left.
Ah, good point. I'm gonna do that. I'll spend 2 yang and I'll take 2 yang.
There you go. Anybody else damaged?
I'm not damaged, but I had to spend a yen to wake up earlier, so I'm gonna get that now.
All right. Gonna fill yourself up on a little bit of yin. And Sung, there's this dead body in front of you now.
Yep. I guess he'll take back a yen as well.
All right then. So yes, you have killed your first 2 men, and you are now at the entrance of the shipping container yard. You guys can easily stow these bodies away. You can't do too much about the blood on the ground, but this area looks like it's not heavily trafficked, so you guys might be all right. We'll hide the
I'm going
bodies.
to take her shirt off and use it to wash the blood off of her. And then she's gonna give it to you, Shiro. Hold this.
Yujiro has a little roll of gallon bags in the Code of Mystery for this exact purpose. So it goes in the bag and then goes back into the Code of Mystery.
So is Akira just standing there in like a bra, or is she in an undershirt?
She has a bra on.
Okay. A little bit less than inconspicuous, but you're not, at least not covered in blood.
We murdered 3 dudes. We're pretty conspicuous right now. At least I can be naked during it.
Oh, God. All right. So you guys make your way in. And if you would, all please roll me your perception and alertness. I'm going to get back to you in a minute, Ichiro. All right. Akira, what you can tell from just gazing around and listening to the air, no alarms have been sounded, no alerts are going on. With 2 successes, you get kind of much the same, though you see that there are several security cameras posted up facing the containers. With the 5 successes that Yujiro has,
No, I don't. I only have 1, dude. My perception pool isn't even that high.
you rolled.
Yeah,
That's
it's like right below my damage roll. That's probably what happened.
okay. Yeah. Well then, you see the same thing that Akira does. So there are security cameras. You can see those. They aren't pointed at where you are at the moment. You are free to act however you wish.
So we have the shipping containers and we have the security cameras pointed at them, right?
Yes.
Is there any space on like the other side of the containers?
Certainly,
Or
but there are cameras on each side of the containers.
Okay.
The sort of thing is, this is your merchandise. You would want to keep an eye on your merchandise from multiple angles.
True.
So how many cameras are there?
One in each corner of where the containers are. So how do you all proceed?
Are there any points where you could like climb up to the cameras without them seeing you?
It would require a dex stealth roll, but absolutely.
And do Kuei-jin, can they bleed yin and yang like kindred bleed?
As in,
Like would it be possible to spend yang to bleed something nasty that could cover the lens of the cameras?
you could easily like put a bit of like make a small incision on your hand that wouldn't give you any lethal. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to like get something to cover up the camera, you're certainly capable of doing that.
Okay. Akira will suggest this to Yujiro. She'll also like point to her ruined shirt.
Idrio looks up at the cameras. Takes a look around the area. I am guessing we already crossed the Rubicon of a convenient room that would control these cameras.
You could look around for one.
Okay. I'm gonna roll my mighty dice pool for this. This is the biggest dice pool I got. 1 success.
It takes a while, but you manage to find a guard shack. That is not what your senpai ordered you to do.
It's not. This is for academic purposes. Like, Yujiro wants things, and he can want them inside his head. However, what he has right now is a bloody shirt and an order he was given.
I didn't give any orders.
Oh.
I made a suggestion.
Oh.
Forgive me then. You do find the guard shack, and there are indeed security cameras or at least the readouts. There's one gentleman sitting inside who is currently looks like he's playing Hearthstone.
Killing that one's as good as blinding them.
We could kill him, or he could provide us with some useful information. She waggles her eyebrows.
See this look in the eye you can see? See it?
We can kill him after.
If that's what you want to do, it's not my place to question it.
How do my boobs look?
I'm distant from that aspect of myself right now.
As your senpai, I'm ordering you to tell me that my boobs look nice.
They look very nice, Akira-sama.
Thank you. And she's going to, with a sort of triumphant look on her face, she's going to start sneaking over to that guard tower.
All right. Just roll me your dex stealth, and the difficulty will be, I'm going to say 4 because he is not at all paying attention.
Two successes.
3.
You guys get to the door. He has not seen you. He's too ensconced with trying to beat this, whoever this person is, probably from another country, an American, but he really wants to be able to get the points enough to buy new packs, new booster packs.
Okay. Wait here. And Akira is going to very slowly slide the door open and slip inside.
All right, Akira, how are you proceeding?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you slip inside. He hasn't seen you. How are you approaching this? Exactly what do you want to do?
Well, first she's going to do the thing that she's apparently really good at, and she's gonna start crying a little. And once her face is nice and red and her eyes are big and watery, she's going to approach and go, excuse me.
Ah! He says, as he drops his tablet. And he stands up and he's like, ah! What the hell are you?
And she's going to start very frantically spinning this story about how her parents forgot to pick her up from high school and she's been walking all day and she's lost and scared. And some creep he grabbed my shirt and I ran in here. Can you help me?
Roll me your... roll me your... God damn it. Roll me your manipulation and subterfuge.
Okay. I'm gonna spend a willpower point on this because it's very important. Ooh, three successes, and I got a lucky number. If that means anything.
It's only on roles that really kind of deal with natures and whatnot, but
Okay.
3 successes is still enough. As he kind of looks around, he's just like, you can't you can't be here. And he'll take off his jacket and he'll put it around her. Let me call some of my mates here. Hold on, and he'll pick up the radio. He turns his back on you to pick up the radio.
Can I, like, stumble over and knock the cameras offline when I do?
Give me a Dex Athletics, sure.
Nah.
Jeezy peasy. How many is that for you today?
A lot. Is this the part where we get the anime, like, accidental face in the panties shot?
You trip and stumble as he's going to press the button for the radio, and as he hears this commotion behind him, he turns and you land on top of him, completely fan servicing him with your bosoms, because this is where we are now.
She's gonna squeal.
It's just like, I am so sorry. You need to be more careful here, and he'll kind of, pick you up and set you down in his chair. I really need to call someone now. And he's got that radio in hand. Are Sung and Yujiro going to do anything while they're standing outside this guard shack?
I mean, if there was a time, I think now would probably be it. We tried diplomacy. Diplomacy has failed.
I don't know if we necessarily will consider that a failure.
But, yeah. What do you want me to roll to shank this guy?
What you've rolled before. You would like to roll your stealth dice to ambush him?
Absolutely.
You may do so.
Okay, looks like I got 3 successes on stealth.
Do the thing. Difficulty 3.
Gotcha. I added my stealth dice again.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Difficulty 3, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You have 8 successes.
8 successes.
Roll your strength plus 8 in lethal damage.
And my knife, too.
Well, that's why it's strength plus 8, because you only got 7 carryover.
I gotcha.
But it's plus 1 damage.
Oh my god, my damage rolls? I do nothing.
You do absolutely nothing. Sung, save us. Save us, Sung. We need you.
Oh, I might be eating. What's going on? Like, am I just hitting people with the chain whip now?
I mean, if you want to, or you could grab this guy. Like, you've basically gotten up to a guard shack where the security cameras are. And when you... So Akira went in, and because she's shirtless, she tried to use her feminine wiles on him, and it certainly put him off balance. She went to go try and turn the cameras off, but she failed, or she botched and landed tits first in this guy's face. Yujiro went in, got a really good attack roll, but completely whiffed the damage, and so now there is only you to try and stop this guy from grabbing his radio, or to use his radio. You could chain whip him. You could try and pull the radio out of his hand. You could grapple him. Sky's the limit.
Okay. Just going to extend the chain whip, try to wrap it around his arm that's got the radio, and then yank on the chain.
All right. I do believe that maneuver is difficulty 7, but you may roll it.
Fuck my life. Okay. Into willpower.
All right. You have
Thank God I
2
did.
successes. Yeah, you wrap that thing around his hand. You get the radio and you jerk it out. It hits the floor and scatters across it. And now he is in the room with 2 armed men and 1 semi-naked woman. And he just is like, "Oh!" He throws both of his hands up. The hell do you want?
Is this dude wearing like guard weapons?
If you open up his jacket, he does actually have a small Tech 9. Looks like it's got a silencer on it.
Yujiro kind of places the knife against his sternum in such a way that the point is ever threatening his throat, and uses his free hand to open the coat, sees the gun, takes the gun. That's not very nice. Tucks the gun into the coat of wonders. Is there anything else he's got on him, like a nightstick or something?
He's got a knife and a collapsible baton. Other than that, there's nothing else that he's got aside from like a cell phone and a wallet.
He takes the knife and hands it to Akira.
Akira will take it. She'll also take the cell phone and the wallet.
And finally, Yujiro takes the club but has like no interest in it. That goes on the floor.
Sorry, I was gonna do this the nice way, but they had to barge in. And she'll pat the guard on the head.
And Yujiro slowly leads him to the chair. Sit.
He'll sit down. He'll look up at you. I don't know if you're any of Tanaka's men, but you can tell him that anything he does here, Boss Matsuda will pay back tenfold in blood. And you should know that by now. You're all 3 of you idiots for coming here.
Okay, can you turn the cameras off, please?
Actually, does this guy have a pair of handcuffs?
No.
No.
He is Yakuza guard, not actual guard.
Okay.
Meaning, if you got caught here, it was your ass.
I want to punch him in the face for what he was said.
Go for it. Difficulty 3 to punch him.
Oh shit, get hit. Don't have any dice in Brawl. That's okay though, because I can roll unskilled.
Yes, you can. With no penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you punch him. Go ahead and roll your strength +1. You crunches, his nose crunches up a bit as you punch him, and his head snaps back, and blood starts dribbling out of his nose.
So, Mr. Guard, do you want to deal with them? She'll point to the 2 who injured him. Or do you want to deal with me?
He'll run his tongue over his bloody lip, kind of grimace, and then he will spit in your face, Akira.
Akira is going to jam her thumb into his broken nose.
Ouch. He just kind of makes this gurgling, like, muffled. Stupid cunt.
She's going to keep pushing his head back and sit in his lap as she does so.
Yeah. And he just finally is like, fine. And he'll finally like relent. Fine. Turn the fucking cameras off.
Okay, do it.
And he'll reach up and he'll basically hit the switch on each of the 4 cameras, and they all go offline.
That wasn't so hard, was it?
Easy for you to say. You're not going to lose a finger for it.
Who said anything about you losing a finger? And Yujiro stabs him in the neck.
Akita's gonna block the stab.
Y'all play this out. This is all you.
Well,
Do
I
you
guess.
want
Oh, I'm not gonna fight Akira on this.
Yeah, I think he would.
Okay. She's just gonna look at him and she's gonna be like, "You've made enough of your own decisions today."
Yujiro backs off because he hadn't had a reason really to think that like Akira was back in the driver's seat until like now. But now that Akira's home again, well,
I would like to make use of obligation 1. Evaluate.
Obligation 1. Let me grab my handy dandy book here.
It's perception, empathy, difficulty of his willpower.
Okay. His willpower is 5.
Okay. Ugh, I botched again.
Ah.
So on a botch, it's basically like botching Auspex 2. So I totally misunderstand what this guy's about.
Says for a botch on the perception empathy roll indicates that the Cathayan misreads the soul or becomes too empathically attached to the person. Perhaps mistaking the target for a closely linked soul from another life. So, you're yang aspected, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Are you yang imbalanced?
Mm-hmm. No, just aspected.
Okay. There's just a warmth that comes over you when you look at him, and you feel a connection with him. Something that muddles with your ability to exert your force of personality over him. He suddenly looks far more appealing than he did as you just recognize something that you didn't know was there.
Okay. I am going to drain him dry and let his soul become one with mine.
Well then. Yeah, I'm just gonna let you do that because that's a thing. Yeah. You can start to drain him. However, there is a little bit of a way that you can go with this that I'd like to suggest.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping him around might not be a bad idea if you can find a way to endear him to you.
Well, that was my original plan, but I botched it. That's why I'm eating him.
Oh, all right then. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
So the two of you watch as she just starts to gnaw on his neck to draw the blood out of it, and it's hard to watch. Well, maybe not for you two because you're both yin aspected, and one of you is very close to death anyway. as far as the teachings that you've learned. So this is probably nothing new. It's probably just a little bit extra as far as you're concerned, Sung. But the cameras are off. And when she's done, she just leaves this dead, savage man sitting there in the office chair.
Hope we didn't need him for anything else.
Stuff him under his guard desk.
Anybody here have common sense?
When have I ever taken that?
Really wasn't asking you, Bob. Kim or Shelby? Common sense?
When have I ever taken that?
I think you've taken it at least once. Kim, how about you?
Nope.
Oh, then. Yeah, you guys can shove them under there. And what could have been will now not be.
Well, Sonya's gonna just kind of say, this is a guard tower. People will probably be coming back soon. It will be one thing to have the missing guard. It will be another thing to have his body stuffed under his desk.
Yujiro goes through the humdrum experience of pulling him back out like he was a couch or a futon. And shoulders the corpse. Thankfully, I have strength 3. It's probably not a huge chore to sack of potatoes, this guy.
No, it's not. He's not particularly heavy.
And in all likelihood, he's going in our like corpse pile, like the types you make when you play Hitman too aggressively.
Okay. So you guys add to the corpse pile. It's now 3 people high, and well, do you guys go and investigate the cargo containers?
Could I do a perk investigation in the guard tower to find any kind of ledger or list for what they've got?
Sure. Perception and investigation. Yeah, you find a shipping ledger. Most of it just has, various things. You can see that they've been shipping in and out illicit substances, items that likely had money stashed in them. However, you do see that there's one ledger or one entry in the ledger that's not necessarily like the others. It has a container number, and it just simply has the word assets written next to it.
He's not gonna say anything to him. He's just gonna kind of stick his finger at the, down on the container number, move it over towards them, then turn around and head out and start heading towards the container.
Does Murder and Company decide to go along?
Sure. In the meantime, though, I'm gonna be going through this guy's wallet. Does he have a family?
He does. He has a wife and a son.
My family now.
Oh boy. He also has probably the equivalent of about $70 in his wallet.
Ooh, my money now.
And it looks like a gym membership.
My gym membership now.
All right. You guys make it to the cargo container. There doesn't seem to be a lock on the outside. Son, you're the first one to get there. Would you like to open it?
Yeah, I guess I'll open it.
All right.
We're gonna get hit with something, but let's fucking go.
You open it, and there is an angry Samebito and Kumo in there. No, I'm kidding.
Shutting the door, turning around.
Fuck. The nightmare turduckens upon us.
No,
And Taro.
Taro and Secrets making their way from Kyoto.
Back at it again.
No, what you find inside is actually a far more disturbing sight. You see, as you shine a light in there, or as the light kind of comes through, you see probably 30 women. All of them with chains, clapped manacles that are around one of their arms, which are tied to the actual, are bolted into the wall. They're women, not children. Just women. Son, I would like you to roll your perception, and let me see what skills you've got here that I could use with this. I'd like you to roll your perception and investigation, please.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay.
2 successes. Judging by facial features, judging by the little bit of like, you know, you hear the words of people trying to hush each other. They're Korean. Judging by their how thin they look, and small they are probably from North Korea. These are likely people who are trying to escape the country, which have been put into a human trafficking ring. Congratulations. You guys have stumbled onto a human trafficking ring.
Oh, great, great. Hold the pillar of the family and safeguard it against vandals and thieves. Well, okay. Bone flower time. He's going to say in Korea. In Korea. Damn.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Kim. He's going to say in Korean. How long have you been inside of this crate?
One of the women that's close enough, she's a little bit older. Looks like quite a few of the other younger women are huddled around her, likely making her sort of the de facto in charge. And she'll simply shake her head. I don't know. It's been a very long time. A few weeks, maybe. We were taken while crossing the Gobi.
He nods. Kind of looks over them all. Is this everyone that was with you?
She'll nod.
This will be difficult, but I am going to need you all to come with me.
Yujiro is now a presence beside Young.
And then he'll just say in Korean, and ignore my friend here. He is currently whipped to someone else.
Yujiro has no idea that this hail of insults has been cast upon his professional demeanor.
I'm sorry.
However, he is speaking in Japanese. If we were to perhaps alert a different police force nearby, not local, this port would be shut down effectively. Only the local cops fear Matsuda. Tokyo Metropolitan doesn't have that problem.
Then call them. But in the meantime, they need to get out of their filth of this container and have something to eat. He will say it in Japanese this time.
Yujiro looks like he's weighing something internally here. But there are core tenets of being a Kuei-jin.
Or tenets that this dude just kind of threw to the side, so he's just kind of like, So he doesn't really know or care.
So, Yon gets to watch Yujiro, like, very openly internally calculate here, at least through the eye can see. Very well. Where are you dropping these off?
They are not just these. They are all people. Family. And I do not know. But anywhere is definitely better than this container.
Would you all please roll me your perception and alertness?
Absolutely.
This will be difficulty 7.
Look.
Nice going, Shelby. Nice going, Bob. Jesus.
Hey!
Well, Sung, you hear it completely exactly where it is. There is a presence in that line of containers sort of walking up it. Or not even walking, but making kind of a very quick approach. The other two of you simply hear the sound of heavy footsteps. So they will not get an ambush on you. And sliding to a stop is an individual with what looks to be a silenced submachine gun and in heavy armor. And he has this weapon trained at each of you. And he simply shouts out in Japanese, untranslated, it would be, he would refer to you all as Bakamono. He's essentially calling you monsters. And each one of you needs to get down on the ground now.
Well, when he asks so politely.
It is time to roll initiative.
Oh man, I was about to spend a blood to get gross. Or, sorry, blood. A yang to get gross. I'll have to do that during my turn.
And we don't even get like an option to get on the ground. Okay. What's your dex?
4.
What's your wits?
3.
Fuck! So what do we do now?
Quick roll off.
Each of you roll a dice. Bab is going first. And this operative somehow rolled a fucking 10. So he is going to go first, and the first person he is targeting is going to be Yujiro.
Man, should have spent that chi to get gross.
Never mind, you're gonna have to do dire.
4 plus 5 is 9. He takes a shot at you. There's not a real sound because it's more of a sound of a silenced weapon going off. But he shoots you. However, when the bullet it's going to hit like an article of your clothing.
No, I know what it hits.
What?
I put it in the Code of Wonders last scene, Vinny.
What?
Hit my fucking tablet.
Well, then, your tablet starts to emit you start to hear this sound as a bright white burning begins to emit from inside your coat as the tablet begins to crack and warp underneath the heat of whatever was in this round.
So I guess I'm next.
You are.
Like, I'm trying to figure out if I need to spend the round doffing my coat or not.
If you want to shrug out of your coat, it's fine. You just won't have access to anything that's in the coat that you're not currently holding.
It's just a dirty shirt and a bunch of knickknacks anyway. And a gun. Yujiro moves forward because that's how Yujiro do. He's going to stab a guy because that knife's been in his hand this whole time.
All right, go ahead and roll, please.
Oh, wait, no, I'm using a knife.
Mm-hmm. That is 4 successes. That'll be your strength plus 4.
Only 2 damage.
Which he soaks. Or I should say his armor soaks. You go to stab him and you hear a very loud sound of a blade hitting what sounds to be like ceramic plating. Next up is Sung.
Okay, so this dude messing with his family now, and Boneflowers kind of get upset about that sort of thing.
I do.
They get really upset about that sort of thing. So I don't really know how this works, but I'm gonna see what happens.
Are you gonna use Yin Prana?
Yeah.
Kind of figured.
I'm gonna try to I don't know. Would it be cooler to shoot black? No, I don't want to scare the peeps in the containers. Shooting black lightning would probably not be good. So I'm just going to spend a point of yin and channel his... Oh shit, what's it called? Chain whip. There we go. With yin, so it does ag damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your chain glows with a pale gossamer blue light and seems to hum with just this unsettling, almost hissing sound.
That won't scare the family at all. No.
You got 3 successes. Does that only convert it to ag, or does it give any bonus to stats? Nope, it just adds...
Yeah, it's just ag damage. I can also strike at ghosts and spirits if I spent another point of chi, or just shoot a bolt of black lightning for another point of chi, but I like my chi in my body. Get rid of it. Just 2 ag. I'm gonna cry if he soaks it. It would be like, wow.
He does.
Tears.
You hit onto the armor, and it cuts across the cloth, kind of burning away the cloth. Or I wouldn't even say burning it, more kind of rots away. This is his yin chi. But you can see that there are indeed armor plates under this guy. Under this guy's clothes. Next up is Akira.
What is the roll that I would make to try to take his gun?
It would be a disarm. I will let you do it with the Dex Brawl.
Well, I have that knife from before.
Oh, well then, go ahead and try and knock that blade out of the dude's hand.
Alright, and I would also like to spend 2 yang for extra actions, using yang prana.
Okay. If there's any role that he must use as well.
It says if your successes exceed his strength, he drops it.
Okay. He has a strength of 3.
Okay. Ooh, 3 successes.
So you matched his strength. You didn't quite beat it, but I will say that he cannot use the gun on the next turn, as you kind of jostled it loose from his hand enough to the point where he will sort of like you haven't knocked it completely out of his hand, but like the hand on the trigger is completely knocked away, and he's only got it by the barrel or the shroud or whatever you want to call it. But he won't be able to shoot on his next action.
Do I still inflict damage? And if I use it on my extra action before his next action, can I finish knocking it out of his hand?
I'm going to say that you can inflict damage, but you can't use your action again. Unless, well, you're the only one that has extra actions. So you can roll again, and I'll give it to you at a lower difficulty. But
Okay.
go ahead and roll your damage. It will be your strength plus 3. Because you have 2 extra successes plus the 1 that a knife gives you inherently.
Okay,
Roll
there's
his
3
armor.
successes.
What did I do wrong? Erecto? Well, I mean, you know. You inflict a grand total of 3 lethal onto him. Congratulations, you're the first one to hurt him.
Yay.
As you actually manage to stick the knife into his hand and draw blood. And it is your turn again.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna go for another disarm, basically yanking it out and stabbing the same place.
All right. I'll give you it at a -1 difficulty.
Wait, is it -1 as in it's back down to standard, or is it -1 as in it's diff 5?
Let's see. A disarm adds a +1
Mm-hmm.
to your whatever weapon you're using, I believe.
Wait, it's weapon difficulty?
I'm just double checking right now. Where is that disarm thing? Maneuver.
Hand-to-hand maneuvers.
Disarm difficulty +1. So yeah, it would be difficulty 6 with the +1, and a -1. It would
A knife is
be yeah. So yeah, you knock that gun out of his hand,
yeah.
and you may inflict damage. Go for it.
Strength +4, right?
You have 4 successes, so yeah.
2.
He takes 1 more damage. He's now at -4, and I believe you have 1 more turn.
And on my final turn, may I pick up his gun and have it ready to use next round?
Certainly.
Yes.
And-
Fucking
And we are back at the top of the initiative. And he stands there, still ready to fight. He draws out a knife, and he is going to come at you, Akira. And he is at a -2. He's at -2 dice and +2 difficulty to attack you. Because there are multiple opponents. He does not succeed as he tries to swing out at you, but it is hard to get enough room to move with Sun and Nijiro standing around him. Next up is Ijiro.
Okay. We're going to try this again. All right, we're going to try stabbing him again. Just barely make it. So
Got a success.
Yep.
So your strength +1.
And 1 damage.
He takes another point of lethal as you stab him as well. Sung, it is your turn.
Let's see if this works.
3 successes. So it's going to be your strength +3. Three damage.
Oh, that's 1 egg.
1 more as you hit him with the ag. He drops sort of into a lower stance, barely able to stand, and now his blood has soaked through his clothing and is now dripping out onto the ground around him. He's not looking so hot. Akira. Yes, everything is coming up, Milhouse. Akira, it is your turn. You have a gun in your hand, and I do believe you have Jack of all trades, so even though you may or may not have firearms, you can still use it, as though you did have a dice in it.
Ah, yes. Although, this gun was firing weird bullets, right?
It was.
I kind of want to save those because I bet the Sosin would like to see them.
Well, I mean, there is a magazine in there, so there's probably quite a few.
Vinny, do you just want something to go boom?
I'm just saying, like,
Alright, I'll shoot him.
there are plenty of rounds to have left to be able to take this back to the Sosin.
Shoots him. I'm just going for a body shot because while everything is coming up Millhouse, I'm not going to risk it.
You're not going to poke that bear. You're not going to mace that bear in the face.
Is it just a rifle? An assault rifle?
It is SMG.
SMG.
So it does strength, or it does 5 damage.
Diff 6 to use?
Yes.
Okay. 1 success!
Alright, go ahead and roll 5 dice.
Ooh. 4.
The only way he's going to live through this. How do you kill him?
He basically is going to take a quick step forward and jam the barrel of the SMG right in his gut and pull the trigger. She's only going to go for like 1 bullet because that's all that's necessary, but man, it'll feel good.
Well, you jab this silenced pistol into his stomach, you pull the trigger, and the gun goes off. You can feel the kick, you can hear the muffled sound of the shot, and the man doubles over and starts to groan in agony as you see a white light starting to burn from within the wound that you just inflicted on him. There's smoke coming out of it. He continues to writhe in agony as the hole begins to get bigger and the stench of burnt flesh fills the air. Some of the women inside of the container either faint or begin to scream. Some of them vomit. The man is like arching his back and using his feet to sort of push him along the ground as he's moving and writhing before he finally falls silent. And there's now just a small plume of smoke coming out of the hole.
With all of that, Akira, with like a grin on her face, is going to start stealing his body armor.
Ichiro's gonna go back and get his coat. It's ruined now, but it's his.
Well, that body armor, at least as far as the actual vest, is ruined because you fired a round of white phosphorus through it.
Yes.
So it is burnt up pretty fucking bad. However, as you go to take off the helmet and the various items, they don't have any give to them. Like they don't have, like when you pull on them, the whole head moves along with it.
So if I keep yanking and just keep yanking, am I gonna get a gory surprise?
Yes, you are. You're essentially going to pull the candy shell off of this Kinder Egg.
Akira is gonna look so fucking excited. She's gonna the blood. Does the blood taste good?
The equipment itself, you don't know if it's in any working condition, but it's still something worthwhile to show the Sosin for sure.
Yes.
Intel is always a good thing to have. But otherwise, yeah. Man's laying there, and as what are you guys doing from here?
holding his severed head like a fucking football under my arm in one hand, holding his gun in the other hand.
All while topless.
Yes.
Like, I would like to get 2 yen back so I can be at full.
Sure. You gonna do that in front of the family, or are you gonna drag the body away?
He's gonna drag the body away. Don't need to scare the folks.
Any more than they already are.
Like,
Stuck in the container with Yujiro and Akira.
The drinking from the head that Akira does is in full view of these people, though. She doesn't give a fuck about them.
internal bone power screaming. And by out of sight, he's just gonna go like behind the door, grab the 2 yen, like clean his mouth off.
You're gonna come back and you're gonna see her holding up this head and just letting, the blood. What?
Does Chi have to go in the face hole?
Yes.
Damn it.
You haven't quite hit that level of Dharma. Damn it. You cannot dry hump the Chi into you. It doesn't work that way. Not without Flesh Sentai, at least.
Adding it to the list.
Song is just going to sigh and then look back over at the peeps. Just kind of
that head woman kind of makes the not really like shouting, but she's like, "You all are devils, aren't you?"
Well, he's going to say in Korean, "Does it matter what we are if you are saved?"
I don't want you near any of us. Please leave.
You would be without protection in a hostile area. There are still guards about, and without us, you would more than likely get captured again. I am not willing to take that chance.
Just please go. All of you, please just go.
No.
Yujiro's just kind of been playing cat tennis. Somebody's speaking in a language he doesn't understand. His honored elder is speaking in that same language back. It's real emotional back and forth here. Some very flat tones, some very upset tones, more flat tones, more upset tones. This is so fucking captivating. And after a lot of this, I doubt it will comfort any of these people to watch the one outwardly scariest looking guy look a lot more like an excited house pet than anything else. But he will look at his honored elder and say, in not Korean, "Is there a problem?"
He will look back, and in Japanese he will say, "Yes, it seems there is." He kind of makes this face that's in the GIF right now towards Akira. And then he will look back to he'll look back to Yujiro and just kind of say, "They are afraid of us and do not wish to go with us. But if they are left here and if they try to leave on their own, the guards will find them again."
It's a problem for the police to handle. And as I said, it will shut down this dock.
I will stay until they arrive then.
As you all are standing there, there's suddenly a flash of light. And you notice that the body of this man begins to burn. In about 1, 2, 3, 4, About 5 places. Unfortunately, the one place that would have made the final 6 is separated from the rest of the equipment and therefore cannot ignite. But that body kind of erupts into flame. And not a natural looking flame, but like a chemical fire from the looks of it.
We've done our job and need to report to the Sosin. Let them choose now whether they live or die.
Perhaps it is that easy for you, but I have tenets to uphold.
Okay, bye. And Akira's gonna nod to Yujiro.
If I were you, I'd make the call from the phone in that guard shack.
And off Yujiro goes, because Akira is directly responsible for him.
Does Sung go to the guard shack to call the police? You've already been given the hint that you can call the Metropolitan Police, and they will not hesitate.
Yeah, he'll before he leaves, he'll look back and he will bow before the matron and will say, "Thank you for protecting them for as long as you have."
She doesn't respond scornfully, but she just doesn't respond. Which is likely the best you would get from her, all things considered.
I am about to call the police. Please stay here and do not move. They will help you more than I can at the moment, unfortunately.
And Sung makes a phone call.
Well, he's gonna say one last little thing. It's just gonna be along the lines of, and I'm really sorry you had to see that. I'll be fair, I don't really like the other two either, especially the chick that just kind of ripped the head off who was drinking it in front of you guys. Sorry that you had to see that. Hope you have a good day. Goodbye. A lot more eloquent. He was just kind of like, just why? And then he will go make the call.
At least in your experiences, the one thing you can say is, well, she is a thrashing dragon after all.
Darn thrashing dragons.
Does Sung stay for the police arrival?
He's gonna stay in the shadows long enough that so that he can make sure that they're okay and that they're not gonna be mistreated by the police or anything, because them tenants though.
Roll me your dex stealth then.
I'm gonna spend a willpower with this.
Okay.
Because it would suck to like he is the knight.
You have one of those screens in your pocket, like one of those sheets that's the same exact consistency and color of the background you're standing in front of. That you basically pull up over yourself whenever the police begin to show up. You were that well hidden. You were essentially stealth, Tenchu style stealth at the moment, or at least at that level. About 4 or 5 police cars come from the Metropolitan Police Force, flanked by about 4 more cars from the local police force, who suddenly now seem emboldened, given the fact that, well, now that they have backup. Where's the damn picture? You see one person directing traffic down there. She looks like she is dressed outside of a normal uniform, although she is wearing a vest over her over like her suit. Likely a detective of some kind. Do you decide to leave after this is done? Because you can leave without having to worry about anything. With 5 fucking stresses.
Hmm. Gosh darn this damn tenant. Okay, he's gonna do one last little thing. Without really coming... Okay, can he get close enough to ask the detective something without, like, giving away his presence?
No.
Okay. Damn. He's just gonna leave then.
Alright. Do you all head back to the izakaya?
Well, we've probably already been there for a little bit.
Okay. So, Sung, when you arrive, Akira and Yujiro are already sitting there. Sosen is currently listening to them describe what exactly their experience was. What exactly is Akira telling the Sosen?
Honestly, he's giving a pretty bare bones rundown of like what they did. The only part that she really gives much detail to is once they find the humans being trafficked and are attacked by the dude whose head she brought. And that he was firing a gun that didn't shoot regular bullets. And she'll show her the gun and the clips there. Probably already confiscated and being held by someone else by now.
The more refined woman of the court seems to have taken possession of them. She's already been stated to be the Mazu Oni of the court, so it should go to her to investigate. As you approach Sung, she will look over in your direction. And I see that you stayed behind to ensure the safety of your countrymen.
He will just nod his head.
Do you know whether they are from the north or the south?
North.
I see. Well, the 3 of you should consider yourself especially lucky. You had a run-in not only with Boss Matsuda's boys, but also with members of a group of humans funded by the government, known as Strike Force Zero. They hunt us demons, as they like to call us. But be careful about how open you are with your truer natures. And I would highly recommend that you enforce the scarlet screen as best as you are able when not behind closed doors. But other than that, I'd say the 3 of you performed most admirably. You managed to not only disrupt one of the thorns in the side of this court, we now know that the human opposition is well armed And with the police getting involved, Boss Matsuda will likely have to change his tactics now that he has the Metropolitan Police breathing down his neck. All of you are to be commended. You all have done well.
Thank you, Sosen.
Is there anything else that you three need?
The pride of a job well done will sustain me for now, and she'll crack a grin.
For now, at least. She'll look at you, Jiro.
No.
And
No, I'm fine.
And then she will look to Sung.
I'm fine as well.
Well then, until we meet again. And if there is nothing else, we shall call the end to proceedings. Thank you, players, for playing, and thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene for Tokyo by Night.